2, 3, 4, United States Marine Corps.
1, 2, 3, 4, United States Marine
Welcome
Corps.
to the Jarhead Basement Quarterdeck, aye sir. This is a series where MJ Casey tear apart a movie that turned out to be shit, aye sir. This episode, they're tearing into
The Predator, 2018.
Papa Predator is no ordinary Papa, so when he learns that the human race needs a nanny, he applies for the job. With a perfect wig, a little makeup, and a dress for all occasions, he becomes a certain female British nanny who is hired on the spot. Now free to be the woman he could never be, the Predator in drag is free to create a whole new life for his happy family. Don't shoot my fucking dog.
directed by Shane Black.
Fuck him.
Starring a whole bunch of actors who probably were paid way more than they deserved for this film. The Predator, released in 2018, had a budget of $88 million. Its box office take at the time of this recording was $160.5 million. So it actually doubled its budget.
That's still not a lot of money, though. Hollywood stands.
Yeah, in the world of $1 billion for the Avengers, I agree. But this movie had all the right things on paper, right? It had an outstanding cast. You had Boyd Holbrook, who had been successful in quite a few other things. Keegan-Michael Key, who we all know is funny, right? Olivia Munn, who I think had a career until she tried to stand up for herself. So sorry, Olivia. Thomas Jane, the original Punisher, the only Punisher in my mind until the series came out.
Okay.
And Alfie Allen, who you may not know, but is Lily Allen's little brother and had a song written about him.
Huh.
Right? Sounds like a great cast on paper. Oh, and did I say it was directed by Shane Black?
Shane Black.
Mr. Sunshine on my shoulders, Mr. Shane Black.
The same guy behind Lethal Weapon, The Nice
Great.
Guys,
Great.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang,
Love it.
and starred in the original 87 with Arnold.
Get to the chopper.
What's the matter, Dylan? See, I got you pushing too many pencils.
You son of a bitch. And did you know this is actually the highest grossing film in the franchise?
Yeah, but it's got the lowest rating, I think.
Because it's a flaming pile of horse shit.
So what caused this to happen, folks? That's what we're going to dive into. Where do you go from one of the best sci-fi horror creatures to ever exist to just butchering the heck out of it and making it... It's got the same IMDb rating as Alien vs. Predator, the first one. We're going to take a look, folks.
Cut to a majestic skyline, Southwest United States.
Found his escape pod in Mexico.
And we find a certain Predator's ship crashing to Earth, right?
Yep.
And then we see an escape pod.
Yep.
Right? So far, so good.
Which, right there, I'm going to stop you right there. It doesn't make sense to begin with.
Why, Casey? Why?
Spoiler alert for The Predator 2018.
He has this gift for humanity. Why would you jettison from your main ship? It didn't crash and explode or anything.
It didn't look like a violent crash, did it?
No. So now he's a long ways away from this ship that he wants to give this gift to the human race. So right out of the gate, I mean, we're barely past the opening title shot.
Exactly.
The logic is just ridiculous. So which comes into my first thing in my notes. Why after the crash and is his shit off? Why is it off? Now, if any of you are familiar with the original, the Predator without his helmet is not very good vision-wise.
Yeah.
When he takes it off, it loses the ability to hone in on the heat signature. And everything becomes red and pink and garbled orange and stuff. So unless it all fell off when he crashed that escape pod, it doesn't make any sense. It's just a plot. It's just a plot convenience for this thing to move forward, so Boyd Holbrook can have. And I didn't know. It's never been presented before in canon that this little steely ball is what makes them camouflage. I always thought it was part of their wrist thing.
Oh, yeah, agreed. And before I'm going to take us back, just a blip, right?
Yeah.
So, as you stated, obviously he was ill prepared for said crash, right? He didn't have his equipment on. I don't think he was strapped in. Right?
Well, I'm going to stop you right there because it shows him putting that stuff on when he leaves his main ship.
Oh, that's right. He does.
Literally, the gauntlet is fastened to his.
So I have a question in this whole scene is how the fuck, all right, my escape pod crash lands, right? I don't care who you are. You're going to be disoriented. Then come to and take out a third sniper that we haven't even been introduced to yet. All before the sniper that watched the whole thing go down has time to get to the ship that was maybe 50 yards, 100 yards tops from him and find all of his gear.
And we know it's not that long of a time because when Boyd Holbrook comes to, it even says in the subtitle, it says engine powering down. You can hear the escape pod's engine like
the turbine
slowing down.
Right.
So obviously it's not like Boyd Holbrook was out for like
hours.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So yeah, that's kind of
problem number 37 already.
So which brings me to my next point in my notes was if he's trying to help humanity, why kill in such an elaborate way that third sniper? Haynes, I believe his name was. The only reason I remembered it is because Haynes. I loved the blatant, it could have been an actual commercial on TV, the Don Julio alcohol product placement on the Mexican bar.
Oh yeah.
It literally it's like it's right there in the shot. Like he sets the glass down by it again and everything. It's like I want to be like Don Julio. Get your drink on.
Right, yeah. We're in shitty bars too.
Yeah. That brings me to the next thing too is why mail everything but the invisible? Why swallow the invisible?
Well, because I'm pretty sure he thought he was going to like an Auschwitz camp, and like you had to save your great granddaddy's watch. You got to hide it in your butt. My thought on that is, you swallow one of those little button batteries, it's gonna ruin your day.
Oh yeah.
What kind of battery is that thing running on? Huh? Can anybody tell me that? I'm pretty sure his proctologist was not a fan of finding that in there.
I know. I just saw something like you're mailing the helmet and the gauntlet. Why are you swallowing this? I was like, with Don Julio tequila.
Don Julio. We drink too.
Maybe they had him do that just because Don Julio threw him a bunch of money to have his product in there.
Undoubtedly, there was definitely some marketing.
There was no logic to it.
Right. And again, what kind of bar like that is going to have, I wouldn't say Don Julio's top shelf, but it's a pretty good brand.
Yeah.
You
figure in a bar like that, it would just have a bottle that,
like that $7 for a gallon bottle. It's not even a glass bottle. It's
like
plastic.
Just made down the road.
Right, just toilet hooch.
And we get introduced to McKinnon's kid, and I just don't like. I have a hard time liking kids in movies. But yes, and then we get to see that this kid goes to the most responsible school in the entire country, where these all the authorities, the kids, the bullies pull the fire alarm, and everybody takes off, and you left this kid that's requires special needs just alone in this room.
No big deal. Whatever.
Oh, you're good. He'll
leave him in there.
Find his way.
Just to pick up all the chess pieces by himself.
Yeah.
That only took, 30 seconds, I'm sure, right?
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure he obviously responds well to loud noises, so I'm sure he was probably just not panicking at all with the fire alarm going off.
Exactly.
And then we move into, we meet Olivia Munn's character. So this is her qualifying thing. These guys approach her at the park. And I don't know if there's things that were cut from this that might have helped us as viewers better, but
I really hope so.
because they were like, hey, Dr. Brackett, or is that her name? I can't remember. But they're like, he's like, heard you enjoy stargazing.
Stargazing.
And he's like, you need to come with us. And I'm like, as a first time viewing, even rewatched it, I'm like, they better explain what her freaking credentials are.
Yeah, I mean, at what point was her character going to bring out the whistle and start, making a scene? Because that just seemed completely out of place, right?
Well, it did. And like, so then they get the card. Is like, what, about why she was there? And she goes, I sent a letter to the president when I was 6 that if they ever found a space animal to call me. She's like, and then I wrote a paper on hybrid strains, and that put me on a list of something or other. I'm like, so that's it? To make you qualified to come look at an alien?
I mean, if that's the case, then, brother, me and you are both on lists somewhere.
I mean, we don't know much on the whole hybrid strain.
I know quite a bit about the hybrid theory. Maybe they could pick me up at Lincoln Park.
So then we get to the scene there where he's finally done with his interrogation, which the interrogation was an all right scene. I didn't have any problem with that.
I didn't have a problem with the actual interrogation. My problem with the scene was they're leaving a VA hospital, right? So they're not leaving like Fort Leavenworth Medical Hospital or, some military bases medical facility, right? Like you think they're in the Southwest, they probably would have went somewhere in San Diego, right?
Yeah.
Plenty of hospitals down there. There's, Balboa Medical Center's right there in San Diego.
They went to Yuma.
Yeah, they went to the stumps. But so they come walking out of this VA hospital, and then they put them on a prison transport bus. And
it just shows up, and it already has other prisoner or people in custody.
Yeah, it just so happened to be there, right? Or whatever the case. It just didn't make a lick of sense to me that he was at an outpatient, more or less a civilian type hospital, right? Like you and I go to the VA hospital. There's no MPs. There's no real security beyond what normal hospitals would have, right?
And so another thing that doesn't make sense too is once we get introduced to the loonies, which that whole fucking group is unlikable.
Together, yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Individually, I like a lot of those actors.
Then if they're already been together for so long and they're part of this military prison or whatever, and they're all handcuffed, that's got to be the laxest military prison I've ever heard or seen of. When you go into military prison, people, you still have to form by the code of the UCMJ.
The military code of justice, yeah.
And you have to follow dress code and have uniforms. These guys are just wearing whatever. I mean, everybody's like, the one guy, Nettles, his hair's long as shit. I mean, everybody's just kind of wearing whatever they want. They're out of regs. It's like, either they all just got picked up that night, but they all say, welcome to group 2, They've all been together for a long time. They call
long enough that
themselves
they all
the
know each
loonies.
other's story. Yeah.
Yeah.
They know how to push each other's buttons.
So why isn't anybody getting after them about their haircut regs? I mean, I'd go get me wrong, someone could be Army and whatever, but Nettles is clearly out of reg, don't care what branch you're in.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Nebraska had a no-shave shit.
They didn't want to push him too hard since he shot his CO.
Himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we get to meet the scientists, right? Because at that point, Olivia Munn's character is going to this top secret scientific facility with, you would think, the biggest, brightest brains.
Once the bill does, that's room stretching.
Is it just your imagination? Or is this haunted room actually stretching?
Every fucking time?
Oh my God.
And the minute the elevator door opens, that's the first one we meet is
Old Jakey Busey.
Aha! There you are. Welcome. I'm Sean Keys.
which is just a dang plug it nostalgia because Gary Busey was in Predator 2. He comes at her with this line, he's like, well, heard you basically wrote the book on evolutionary biology. So I'm like, well, where's that come from? She wrote a book on, or wrote an essay or a thesis on hybrid strains. So now she's the author on basically the person who wrote the book on evolutionary biology.
So they start the autopsy of this alien being that they have found, as it's the Predator, right?
Yeah.
But they got him sedated, and that's important because he wakes up, as they do, because God forbid they actually have an anesthesiologist handy that like would keep them
under
sedated or make sure the fucking thing is dead before they start cutting on it. I don't know.
Or just like when you do, can't they do that in like a drip?
Yeah, that's what a anesthesiologist does.
Thank you for pointing that out.
It's like Mondays, they come back around. So this thing wakes up and it starts killing everyone, right? It kills all the doctors, all the lab techs, everybody, right? Olivia Munn's character is like, oh, I should probably get out of here. Oh, well, I got to adhere to the
decontamination procedure.
Exactly. So she strips down butt naked in the middle of all this carnage. Like, it just didn't make sense.
Well, and also what didn't make sense is you killed every other unarmed scientist in that lab. Why did you not kill her?
My only thought was that it really liked that show Naked and Afraid. And it was just like, yeah, girl, you go.
Picked it up on a random satellite.
Exactly. It was just bouncing off some random satellite feeds.
He's like, where's my bowl of Cheetos? Oh yeah. So then we get to more good old classic stuff with the loonies, and I tell you, there's a point. Even Boyd Holbrook didn't even want to be on that damn bus.
Would you shut the fuck up?
Oh.
Another part that when they finally take over the bus, and the bus driver's reaction time has got to be the slowest in military history.
Especially because the bus was already stopped, right?
Yeah, they're just in that parking lot.
Right.
By the time, 49 Cent comes up and has the shotgun point, then he's like trying to draw his sidearm. Like, these guys have been whipping the hell out of your boys in the back here for at least like 30 seconds, maybe. And now you're going to pull your piece?
Yeah.
Get out of here, Pile.
Pile!
Go to Subway or something. You obviously need something to eat. And another funny part too is when she's on the bus there, she shoots herself in the foot. So he goes, "Come on, I got you. Come on, I got you." And for some reason, they're like, "Get over here!" And it's seen happens so fast. He just walks away, and she just drops on the freaking ground. When I first watched that, we was like, "What? What was this? What was the point?" And then, and then the good old "get to the choppers" line was just cringe.
Damn. Get to the choppers.
It had to be in there though.
But it was reversed. It was referring to motorcycles. It wasn't even referring. So that's why it was cringy, because you're like, you're not even talking about a helicopter. Who sees a group and they're all like Indian motorcycles? I mean, who looks at a group of standing motorcycles and why they were all there anyway? At this top secret military, but I gotta go dissect an alien tonight, honey. I'm gonna take the Harley. You know what I mean?
I ride the big fuckers. It's a Black Shadow.
And in Nebraska, he looks over and he goes, "Get to the choppers." And then just like,
Thanks for that.
Oh my God. And then the guy that's going to shoot Olivia Munn can't hear a bunch of Harley Davidsons roaring at him. All of a sudden that Harley's just right there and hits him with the back of the bike.
And that's easy to do.
You couldn't hear the choppers coming. I just was like, shut up, movie.
And it was at this point that we had to fight the urge to turn it off.
Actually, it was slightly later
Oh.
when the eat my pussy sequence happened.
Eat your pussy.
Wait, what?
How you doing?
Did you just say eat my pussy?
Yeah. I'm like, Shane, you wrote some of the best comedic lines in action movies. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, that whole entire movie. We laughed our asses off to.
Yeah, that's full of quips and one-liners that are fucking hilarious.
Nice Guys is about the same way.
Yeah. Even go back and Lethal Weapon had some great stuff.
This whole movie is just chock full of stuff that just fell short. I'm like, what is going on, Shane?
I am falling asleep here.
So that part, I was like, today anyway, I was like, oh my God, I have to sit through like the second half of this movie.
I was cursing you out for suggesting we even do
Like,
this.
this is my idea to do the Predator.
Yeah. You son of a bitch.
Dylan. The CGI in this whole movie is not good.
It doesn't hold up, right? It is like 2008 CGI, not 2018 CGI. The opening fucking scene CGI just felt way too digitized.
It seemed out of place with the real environment around.
Agreed.
And there's a sequence, and I don't even know, where what's his name? Nebraska 49 Cent was
Trevante Rhodes. For all the
well, he was in Bird Box. He was all right in Bird Box.
Yeah. For all of our listeners in Wisconsin. Bird Box was a movie starring Sandra Bullock.
So he walks so Nebraska Jones goes up to the back of that dog. Don't shoot my fucking dog.
You knew I was going to say it. Well, no, because he walks up and he lobotomizes the dog, right? I'm doing air quotes for those of you who can't see it.
But what did he shoot? Was that like a bolt gun or something? What the hell was it? Because it was a real pistol? Because it looked like it was like a Black and Decker drill or something. Shane Black and Decker.
Oh, because Black and Decker wrote it.
Product placement. When he was walking up, the CGI was so bad that their proportional size just looked heinous too. We'll put it up here, obviously.
Agreed. But it does lead to arguably my favorite quote of the movie, which is a horrible quote. So now the dog's like friendly, quote unquote. And Olivia Munn, she's like petting it, and she's like, "Nobody shoot my fucking dog." I'm just like,
Okay, new rule. No one shoots my fucking dog.
yeah, like, oh my God, that's such a fucking Karen moment of like.
Where do they keep getting it? Everybody just casually drinks beer in this whole entire movie.
Yeah, it's like doing a podcast with you. I always wonder where all these mystery beers are coming from.
I know. So the big continuity error at that time frame where they're all chilling in that like farm area or whatever. So earlier on, Nettles checks his gun like that and he walks off and he's in like a mechanic jumpsuit type of thing. So he walks off. He's going doing, I don't know, perimeter patrol. Well, Dr. Munn is checking on this microscope thing in the camper. He's in there with her. But now he's wearing that red shirt from earlier. When he's like, we got a lot in common. You like music? I like music.
You trying to tap that ass?
Yeah, and she was like, what? All of a sudden she's like, oh my God, and blah, blah, discovers like, what is it? And then later on, when the dog shows up, he comes back from the fence he just walked out of wearing the mechanic jumpsuit again.
I like it.
Horrible. What? How do you not catch that? He literally didn't have to be even in the scene where she discovers spinal fluid.
Look, editing is hard, man.
Know.
Sometimes you're doing so much heroin, you don't even catch that stuff.
So much heroin. All those late nights and fucking cocaine bills.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, that's such a blatant continuity here. How did you keep that in there? How did that miss, So we don't know where they're at in the United States, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they commandeer this chopper from somewhere. They're out in the middle of God knows where these guys ran off to get a news chopper. I mean, it's a pretty fancy looking chopper. A real chopper, not the choppers.
Right.
And they're like, come on, let's saddle up and let's go find my son or whatever. Did they plan on flying that thing all the way? I mean, he said, they must be just that close then. But the vegetation in the area didn't scream southwestern United States to me.
Yeah, it looked more like Nebraska, right? Like,
yeah, like there was like fields and like trees, like deciduous trees, you know.
That was a big word for you, buddy. You need to lay down?
You need to take something? You need to call anybody? But yeah, so like when I first watched it, I'm like, where the landscape kind of looked, I'm like, how much fuel is that helicopter carrying? Because like they don't show up to the crash site. The bad guys don't show up to the crash site with a helicopter. They show up in, what was it, a nice brand new Cadillac Escalade, I think.
Oh, of course.
It pulls up. It's all LED lights. It pulls up and it's like, try out the new Cadillac Escalade. But no, so anyway, there's the scene where they're going into the
national grade. Sorry,
where the kid's typing in the thing, and it's dark out. It's obviously dark out. But the guy, what's his name? The main bad guy that's always chewing on gum or something.
Are you talking about Sterling K. Brown or Will Traeger?
Yeah, Traeger. Traeger's behind him, and he doesn't have glasses on. So he opens up the door, and all of a sudden it's like they walk in. And he's got these aviators on. I wear my sunglasses at night so he just walks in and then he just takes them off. Like he's literally has them on for 2 seconds just to take them off like that.
Yeah,
on the ship.
It reminded me of the CSI Miami guy, right? When he's like, "We've got a dead body." Yeah. He slowly pulls his glasses off, or whatever dumb line he says.
What was so stupid is that he didn't have the glasses on when they go up to the door to open it. So then when the door opens, it shows from the inside of the ship and the door opens. Now he's just sitting there with them stupid black aviators on. So
he told the other guys, like, hey, hold on, don't ring the bell. I got to put these on. Hold on.
Imagine being his henchman and being like watching that from afar. He's like doing like puts them on real quick before the door opens. They're like, what is this guy's fucking problem? Who are we listening to here? You see that guy there? He just randomly put on sunglasses in the dock.
The fucking dock.
Just to go in for 2 seconds and take them off. What a freaking whack. Yeah, so that and the incredible overpowered ACOG scope on Boyd's rifle that changed, and he can literally see what his what his kid's doing on that little keypad thing.
Like, that little fucker's looking up Pornhub on that thing. I know what he's doing.
Looking at Pornhub on the spaceship.
Brandy Love. Hashtag Brandy Love.
Yeah, now that Predator's going to get fired because they're going to look up his search history.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you can't be doing that shit on the job, man.
Maybe that's code for busty Asian sluts. I don't know.
Hey, everybody's got to have their thing,
Yeah. So they finish their little montage, right? And they get to this like dick measuring moment where they realize they've got to work together because the super predator is going to wipe them out if they don't work together, right? So Boyd Holbrook's character looks at the main protagonist, I guess, of the film, Traeger, and he's like, when this is over, we're still gonna dance. And Traeger, without skipping a beat, just like, oh, I already got my dancing shoes on, boss. It was just the worst. Like, I felt like that should have been in a Fast and the Furious movie.
Gotcha.
Hey, when this is over, you and me, we're gonna dance.
Got my shoes all picked out.
At some point, like that's a Dwayne the Rock Johnson line all day. But neither of those actors have the stature to pull that off, right? Like, it immediately pissed me off on every level.
That was kind of some of the stuff that was distracting too, and I don't know if Shane Black just thought that was going to be that since that's a thing with like a lot of comedy things now. Like there were certain parts in the movie where the loonies were together and you have no idea what's going on because everybody's talking.
It's like trying to listen to our podcast. It's just fucking. Well, we're gonna traipse through the woods and hunt a predator while we're doing it, right?
Right.
You don't fucking save me. I'll fucking save you.
But yeah, so like there's some things like even like the stuff that's supposed to be comedic kind of falls off because you can't tell what's going on. You're trying to listen to one person talk, but there's the stuff that's supposed to be funny that you're catching or supposed to catch is like lost in the garble.
Right. So there's that one moment where Baxley and Coyle, or for our listeners in Wisconsin, that's Keegan-Michael Key and Thomas Jane's characters. You get a little exposition, and they're supposedly like they've been together for a while, like they've been through some stuff together. Even though they're the ones that earlier on are poking and prodding each other the most, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the, toward the end of the movie here, it was one line, and we're supposed to derive like, oh, they've been together for years. This is like their 30th mission together.
Yeah.
And they're gonna go out together.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, it got lost in just the clusterfuck,
the nonsense,
of exposition and nonsense that they were trying to throw at you.
I thought when they were out in the woods, that final little romp there, and basically the climax and the finale, and spoilers again from here on out. I thought the super predator CGI when they shine that light up in that tree and he's like ripped that guy's head off was horrible.
Oh, agreed. That was
like
PS2,
really rough. PS3, like horrible.
Yeah.
So that was it wasn't even scary. Any part of this movie, none of it felt intimidating or tense. None of it. But a lot of that goes back, like, well, that's only because I say it's not even scary. Like the Predator, Jeepers Cripes, the original Predator.
He was a killing machine. Like I was terrified when I watched it.
They kind of did the Jaws thing, It was
right.
You didn't even see him really full fleshed out until the third act,
Right. When Arnie's running around covered in mud. Okay, so who was it? It was Coyle gets hit up in the tree, right?
Yep.
And he's pinned up there. He's got the spear through him, right? And then Baxley comes up. I don't know what the fuck he thought he was going to do, and he gets slashed open in the gut.
Yep.
Super Predator moves on. He's going to go kill whoever else is next on the list. These two motherfuckers look at each other and make a pact without saying a word that they're going to kill each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the probability that either of them could get that shot off correctly before the other one did, and then you died
without saying anything,
without getting your shot off, without saying a word?
Yeah, without counting down anything or anything.
Right.
Not like
and they shoot each other presumably in the head.
Yeah.
Is what it from. I don't know. That guy looked like he was 20 feet in the air.
Oh yeah, he was up there
in the dark.
Yeah.
With either your intestines exposed or
there was fires burning around. There was fires burning around. They had adequate lighting for good.
Oh, okay. They had some ambient lighting. Okay. I'm just saying these.
It is when that scene came up today too, and I remembered it from the first time I watched it. I was like, no.
it was. I guess it was poetic, is what I want to say it was, but it just pissed me off. Is what it did. Sterling K. Brown's character, just random ass in the middle of the fight in the woods, blows his own goddamn head off.
Yeah, because I remember when I first originally watched this one, I was like, I didn't realize. All of a sudden I realized he just wasn't around anymore, and I'm like, what the hell happened to the? Yeah. What happened to Traeger?
Traeger!
Like I literally had to back up. I'm like, did he die somewhere? I mean,
Yep, he sure did.
And it wasn't like because the kid is like was about the helmet. It wasn't about the shoulder mount cannon. Right. He said, well, you don't have to do anything once you're attacked. The helmet would protect you. It shoots some things out, which that's new. But there was nothing going on. All Olivia Munn did was say, hey, Traeger, and he turned his head and it blew his own head out. He wasn't even being attacked. I don't know what that was about.
It didn't like his dancing shoes.
Yeah. Picked out the wrong tip tappers.
Yeah. I think he was wearing tap and they were looking more for a samba piece.
Got my shoes all picked out.
Line dancing. The one thing too is like, well, you talked about he had to go off and kill somebody else. You know what he probably had to do after them two died or were impaled or whatever? He probably just had to go give Boyd Holbrook just a good tossing around. You know, he wasn't gonna kill. He doesn't want to kill him. He's not that kind of predator.
No, he's a nice predator.
He's the one who just picks him up by his throat, toss him off to the side. He's the biggest threat left that's alive, but he's gonna toss him off to the side.
But the greatest killer there is McKenna.
Well, yeah, because he's like, he wants me. He wants McKenna, so he goes and puts himself up, and he just picks him up by the throat, tosses him off to the side,
like stale potato chips.
Yeah, throw him in the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
So it goes back to our thing with you can't kill off your main people.
No.
This thing's a super predator, people. You forgot if you forgot. It's just gonna toss him off the side. It's not gonna just snap his neck with one swoop or anything like that. So then the big reveal comes that the predator actually wants his kid.
Dun dun dun.
Because of his ability, his special isn't his.
Because of his autism.
Autism. Yep. And so now he goes and gets the ship. They all gotta go try and stop him. Nebraska and everything's still around. So they go and they all jump on the ship. I just love Olivia Munn and all them come up and they're just like, line it up. And they're trying to shoot like the steel outside of the ship.
Right. And again, so the fucking Predator was bulletproof. What makes you think the ship isn't going to be even more so? Right?
Right.
Small arms fire will take this down.
Olivia Munn even comes run up the cliff and she's like, just blind fire and just hip shooting everywhere. And she's like, I'm helping.
Yeah. No ricochets either. None whatsoever.
No.
No worry about a blowback. Nothing. You're good.
The freaking Predator's got ability to grow another exoskeleton on his body that's bulletproof. You think his ship is going to be affected by 5.56 rounds?
And then, okay, so, and that leads into my whole conundrum with the, what is that called? Like a force field that he puts around the ship. Yep. So not only does it finally kills our long-haired friend, Fez, and takes him out of the picture because everybody else seemed to get the picture of either go above or go below, but you're not going to stay where you're at.
And he was shooting at it too. Remember that?
Yeah, because that's going to help, right?
What a dingbat.
You shoot the thing you can't see. It helps.
I'm glad he died.
Yeah.
Homeless Jesus.
So then, yeah, right. So then now you've got Nebraska on top of the force field and McKenna underneath, right?
Yep.
Now remember, the ship was going down, which is a whole problem in and of itself. How the fuck did it get back off the ground if it was going down because of the blown thruster in the beginning of the movie? But now it's fine. It's taken off. It's got enough thrust to take it back off. I guess the escape pod was for nothing.
Well, that wasn't his ship, though. That was the Super Predator ship.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes a lot more sense. Sure.
But it was still injured. I don't know how the ship must have just got damaged on landing, or one of them fighter jets.
Small arms fire. Yeah. So either way, all right. So the ship encapsulates itself with this force field, for lack of a better term. The exhaust coming out of the turbines or whatever propulsion systems it's using would have to be encapsulated in said force field, right?
Yes. I tried looking at that because me and you talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
So when I watched today, I was trying to look at the design kind of and where that stuff was coming out.
Yeah.
It's not real clear. So
It's
whether or
not
not
real
just
clear.
the exhaust ports are open, but then that'd be a really weak spot.
Yeah. Oh, gee, I guess I know where to fucking shoot now.
I don't know how Olivia Munn didn't know how to do that. She's wrote
And maybe
the book
that's what
on
it was, and maybe
evolution.
that's why Nebraska's like, well, I know what to do here,
Yeah.
right?
I will give credit to that little quirky scene there when he's like, and gives him the bird and then goes and jumps into that. I was like, it still was ridiculous, but I was like, that was a cool little moment.
Yeah,
But
sure.
kind of.
Right. Okay. So
We had to
regardless,
give this movie
one redeeming quality.
one positive note.
So then Holbrook's character gets into the ship, regardless of the oxygen level between the ship and the force field, which I have problems with, right? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So he gets in the ship, and now he can shoot the Predator because it's no longer bulletproof.
I think it still bounced around off, didn't it? Because
It did, but he was able to hurt it now.
yeah.
Whereas before it was like fucking omnipotent.
Well, yeah, not to mention too. So this thing crashes again. whether or not the super predator was able to land right the first time, I don't. Who knows?
Yeah.
That part's on the cutting room floor. Maybe one of them fighter jets hit it or something. Finally, maybe it knew that its exhaust port was the weak spot. Like maybe they saw Star Wars.
You know what it was? Is Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead saw it and he shot it with a crossbow.
So this thing's already flying away. It's already zooming way off. I mean, there's a part where Olivia Munn looks up and it's already like way over past a lake and another mountain going.
Yeah.
The minute that thing crashes,
She's there.
boo, she's like freaking Quicksilver's freaking sister, you know?
Yeah. I think she also had the key to transportation technologies that no longer exist.
I think she's got that superpower called plot convenience.
Yeah, that bothered me too. She's got to have the best 40 time I've ever seen.
Oh, insane. Plus, it had to have been like a triathlon. She had to go run down that hill, swim across that motherfucking lake,
And climb a mountain.
all while
With a
carrying
kid.
a bomb. While carrying this incinerator device.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which I thought was convenient too. And, everybody just knows how to use this alien technology.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, Boyd Holbrook just picks up this guy's severed arm and shoots a spear. Like, how do you know which button is the fire the spear one? So then we get to our ending, and I hated that whole sequence. It actually, they must have shot that. That must have been reshoots or added on because Boyd Holbrook looked fat, or like fatter, or like older. Didn't he look that way to you when he walked in his actual military uniform? I'm like, holy shit, did he just eat a bunch of cheeseburgers or what?
Yeah, probably had, I don't know, about a year's worth of cheeseburgers between the takes.
Maybe it was. And I was like, doesn't this kid have to go back to school? No, he's just like, oh, yeah, he's good with predator language. He doesn't need to learn anything else. Now he's got an adult job working for this secret organization or whatever. But that's about covers it. Besides some general points here. Yep, horrible sequel bait, and that fucking suit's ugly. So yeah, that's Predator 2018, folks.
Yeah.
Good night.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down.